The galaxy was tense. Human colonies had expanded faster than expected, and now a mistake had happened. A human ship had drifted into Zelari space. The Zelari Empire was one of the most powerful and mysterious alien races in the known galaxy. They were proud, strict, and never forgot an insult. The Galactic Council held emergency meetings. There was talk of war. Most alien races wanted to punish Earth for stepping into Zelari space. The humans, nervous but brave, sent a team to talk. Among them was a diplomat named Carter. He wasn't the most famous or the most skilled. He was young, serious, and always listened more than he spoke. No one expected much from him. He was just there to observe and take notes. But then, something strange happened. A royal message came from the Zelari homeworld. It was short and clear. You alone may enter, human. The message was for Carter, not for the ambassadors. It's not for the generals. Just him. The human team was confused. Some were angry. Why him? He was not in charge. He had no power. The Zelari didn't explain. Carter looked at the message again and again. The Queen herself had signed it. He had no choice. He agreed to go. The human shuttle arrived at the royal palace. It was surrounded by strange towers that glowed blue. The air was thick and smelled of spice and iron. Alien guards stood like statues. Tall and still, with eyes like shining stones, Carter stepped out, heart beating fast. The others stayed inside the ship. The guards said nothing. They only pointed toward the gates. He walked alone through the entrance. The heavy metal doors opened without a sound. Inside, the palace was silent. No servants, no advisors, just smooth. Floors and tall walls covered in flowing symbols he couldn't read. The light came from the ceiling, soft and golden. It felt like stepping into a dream. At the end of the long hall, the alien queen sat on a crystal throne. Her skin was pale silver, her eyes deep violet. Her long robes shimmered like water under moonlight. Carter had seen pictures of her before, but nothing matched the real thing. She looked powerful, yet sad. "Welcome, human," she said, her voice calm but strong. He bowed slightly. "Thank you, Your Majesty." She studied him for a moment. Her expression was unreadable. "Do you know why I called you here?" she asked. He shook his head. "No, Your Majesty." "Because I saw your face in the flame pool," she said. Carter blinked. "I don't understand." The Queen stood and walked slowly toward him. "Our people use the flame pool to look into dreams, see pieces of future and past. I saw you. Many times, me," Carter asked, confused. "But I've never met your people. Not in this life," she said softly. "Ate your soul." Carrie's echoes? He felt a chill down his back. He wasn't sure what to say. She raised her hand and pointed to a door behind the throne. "Come with me. You must see something." Carter followed her. The door opened into a smaller chamber. Inside, there was a strange object floating in the air. It looked like a glowing stone, but it hummed with quiet energy. "This is a memory core," she explained. "Very old, very rare. It holds the thoughts of those who touched it long ago." "Why show me?" he asked. "Because it called to you," she said. "Go on, touch it." He hesitated, then slowly reached out as his fingers touched the stone. Light poured into his mind. Not pain, but not comfort either. It felt like falling into someone else's dream. He saw flashes. A battlefield, young child hiding under a silver tree. Two races, humans and Zellara, fighting side by side. A woman with eyes like his, holding a glowing staff. And then, a fire in the sky. When he pulled his hand back, he was breathing hard. The Queen was watching him closely. "You saw them?" she said. He nodded slowly. "Yes, but I don't understand." "Long ago," she said, "our people were allies. We stood together in a war that burned half the stars. Then we lost, and the victors changed the records. They erased the truth. Now only a few of us remember." Carter sat down, his legs shaking. "So you think?" "I'm connected to that time. Your blood remembers," she said. "Your dreams led you here." He thought back to his dreams as a child. glowing trees, stars falling. He had always thought they were just stories his mind made up. Why now? He asked. Because the galaxy is close to repeating its mistake, she said. Another war, another fire. I hoped you would see what others refused to see. He looked into her eyes. They weren't cold. They were filled with hope and sorrow. So what do you want from me? He asked. I want you to remember, she said, when the time comes. To speak the truth, Carter could not sleep that night. The Queen's words kept repeating in his head, I want you to remember, but remember what? He didn't know those faces in the memory core. The glowing tree, the woman with his eyes, the strange battlefield they felt real, yet far away. He sat in a quiet guest room of the royal palace. Unlike the cold metal of most alien structures, this room felt almost alive. The walls gently pulsed with a soft light, and the air carried a calming scent like leaves. After rain, he stared at the ceiling, thinking. He didn't understand why the Queen had chosen him. He wasn't special. He wasn't a hero. He was just a diplomat with no high rank. But somehow, the Queen believed he was connected to the past. Early in the morning, a soft knock came. He opened the door to find a Zellery guard waiting silently. The guard gestured for him to follow. They walked through long halls lit by crystal panels. They passed rooms filled with floating scrolls, glowing plants, and whispering winds that spoke in a language Carter didn't understand. Every step made him feel smaller and smaller. Like a child among ancient giants, the guard stopped before a tall black door. The Queen waits, the guard said, then left. Carter pushed the door open. Inside was a round room filled with floating images. Holograms, he guessed, but they shimmered with a warmth that felt more than digital. Some showed old space battles, others showed peaceful cities, but many were broken, like damaged files. The Queen stood near the center, her hands behind her back. Thank you for coming, she said without turning. Carter stepped forward. What is this place? Our royal archive, she replied. What remains of it? He looked around. What happened to the rest? Destroyed during the Second Flame War, she said. Many truths were lost, but some hid themselves. Waved her hand, and one image glowed brighter. It showed a group of humans and Zelari standing side by side, holding a banner of stars. One of the humans had Carter's eyes. That's him, Carter whispered. The Queen nodded. He was the first bridge between our people. His name is forgotten, but his blood is not. And you think I'm related to him? He asked. Your dreams match his memories, she said. And the memory core responded to you. It has not happened in generations. Carter took a deep breath. But what does that mean? What am I supposed to do? Learn the truth, the Queen said. Then carry it beyond these walls. She walked to a small crystal pedestal and touched it. A drawer opened, revealing a glowing disc. This is a second core, she said. Stronger, but more dangerous. It holds memories that were locked away. Are you ready? He nodded, even though his hands were shaking. When he touched the disc, the room vanished. He was flying through stars, watching worlds being born. Then he saw a planet on fire. Ships crashed in the sky. Humans and Zelari fought together, trying to hold back a wave of dark, insect-like creatures. They screamed, moved fast, and burned everything. A woman stood on a hill, raising her staff. Her voice echoed like thunder. We stand united. Then a blast of light. The vision ended. Carter fell to his knees, gasping for air. The Queen knelt. Beside him, you saw them? He nodded, eyes wide. Those creatures? What were they? The Voidkind, she said softly. They come every 10,000 years? And each time, unity is the only answer. So they're coming back? The signs are already here, she said. Ships vanishing, strange signals, planets gone silent. Carter sat in silence. This was bigger than any one empire. Bigger than Earth or Zellery pride, and no one else knows? He asked. Some suspects, she said. But most are too busy preparing for war against each other. They forget the real danger. Carter felt anger rise in him. All the fighting, the council meetings, the threats, they were wasting time. So what do we do? You speak, she said. You carry the truth to your people. Show them the memories. Remind them we are not enemies. He looked at her, but will they listen? You must make them listen, she said. You are the first in many lifetimes to carry the old bond. Just then a warning chime echoed through the room. The Queen touched her ear. What's happening? Carter asked. The Galactic Council has called an emergency session, she said. They demand I send you back. At once, they believe I'm hiding weapons. They fear this meeting, because they don't understand it, he said. She nodded. You must go now, before they force their way in. Carter stood, still dizzy from the memory core. What about you? I will face them with truth, she said. But it will not be enough. They need to hear it from one of their own. She handed him a small silver device. This holds what you saw. Share it. Carter took the device and held it tightly. As he walked back to the shuttle alone once again, he looked at the stars above. He had come here as a simple diplomat now. He was something else. Not a hero, not a soldier, but a bridge. Carter sat quietly inside the shuttle as it lifted off from the Zellery homeworld. He held the silver memory device in both hands, as if afraid it would disappear. His mind still swirled with images: burning skies, human and Zellery warriors, the strange queen who had seen his dreams, the dark creatures known as the Voidcond. The stars outside the window felt different now. They didn't just shine, they warned. The pilot glanced back. You okay, sir? Carter gave a small nod. I just need time. We're heading to the neutral station, the pilot said. Council security wants to question you. Carter wasn't surprised. Galactic Council feared secrets. And this one about a human link to the past of the Zelari Empire was something they wouldn't like. When they arrived at the neutral station, Carter was escorted into a cold, white room. Council officers waited, dressed in silver uniforms. One of them, an insectoid called Driss, clicked his mandibles and pointed to his seat. You met with the Queen alone, Driss said. That breaks the rules. Carter stayed calm. She requested me, and only me. And why would she do that? A second officer asked, a pale blue creature with 3 eyes. Because I'm connected to something, she remembered. Something very old. Driss leaned forward. Did she give you any weapons? No, Carter replied. Any threats? No. Then what did she show you? Carter paused. This was it. He reached into his pocket and pulled out the memory device. She gave me this. It contains memories history. It shows humans and Zellery fighting together long ago. And it shows the Voidkind. There was silence in the room. The Voidkind. One officer repeated, That's just a myth. Watch it, Carter said firmly. See for yourself. After some hesitation, they connected the device to the table. A hologram filled the room, played scenes from the ancient battle. The shining tree, the woman with the staff, humans and Zelari side by side, and then the creatures. Fast, cruel, endless. The officers grew quiet. When the vision ended, Driss stood slowly. Where did you get this? From the Queen, Carter said. And the memory core. The 3-eyed officer spoke again. This changes things, as Carter said. And we don't have much time. Strange signals are already appearing. Colonies going silent. Just like last time, Driss rubbed his chin. We'll call a council meeting. But many won't believe this. Some won't care. They only want to fight the Zelari. Then they're wasting time, Carter said sharply. If we don't unite, we'll all burn. 3 days later, the Galactic Council gathered in the Great Hall. Carter stood before leaders of dozens of species. Some looked curious. Others looked angry. The head speaker, an old and wise creature with skin like stone, raised his voice. Humans speak. Art. Carter cleared his throat. He had never spoken in front of so many powerful beings. The Queen of the Zelari allowed me to enter her palace alone, he began. She showed me memories, not just hers, but ancient ones. long before our current records. They show humans. And Zalari fighting together against a common enemy? Devoidkind. Some laughed. Others shook their heads. Carter held up the device. I saw the truth, and I have proof. He played the vision again. Silence followed. This war happened once, Carter said, and it's coming again. We must prepare together, not against each other. A bird-like leader stood up. This could be fake, a trick by the Zalari. Carter stepped forward. Why would they fake memories that show their own defeat? No one had an answer. Another voice, low and rough, spoke from the back. You speak of unity, but your own people still call us monsters. Carter nodded. Yes, and your people fear us too. But fear won't stop what's coming. Only unity will. The stone-skinned speaker raised a hand. It will take time too. Study this. We don't have time, Carter said. Listen to your scouts. Signals are already being lost. The speaker nodded slowly. You have done your part, human. We will consider. After the meeting, Carter walked alone through the quiet station. His chest felt heavy. Maybe it hadn't worked. Maybe they still wouldn't believe. A voice called out behind him. It was an old woman in a blue robe, one of the council historians. You spoke well, she said, too well. Carter frowned. What do you mean some won't want the truth? They've built their power on lies. Then I'll keep speaking until someone listens. She smiled. You remind me of another, long ago, human in the memories. She nodded. He stood here once, long before this council had walls. He tried to unite us too. What happened to him? He disappeared. Some say he was taken, others say he chose to vanish. Carter looked out the window at the stars. I won't vanish, he said. Not this time. In the days that followed, Carter traveled from world to world. He showed the visions to scientists, soldiers, leaders, and teachers. Some believed, some did not. But the whispers began to grow. On a moon near the edge of known space, a research team reported a strange pattern, ships going dark. Planets losing contact, shadows moving in space. Carter listened to the report and closed his eyes. The Queen had been right. The Voidkind were returning, and now, to prepare the galaxy for what came next. Carter stepped off the transport ship onto the research station built into the surface of the dead moon. The station was quiet, too quiet. Only 2 scientists greeted him. Their eyes were tired, their voices soft. We sent the report 6 days ago, one of them said. No one believed us. Carter nodded. I believe you. They led him into a dark control room. Large screens lined the walls, showing data, footage, and signals, some still working, others frozen. This is the planet Eleron 5, the second scientist said. A colony of over 70,000 people. It went completely silent 2 weeks ago. No emergency signal, no distress call, just nothing. Carter asked, pointing to another screen. Deep space scanners, the first scientist replied. We found something strange. These shapes move like ships, but theirs. No heat, no drive signatures. They don't respond to anything. Carter leaned in. The shapes were hard to see, just faint outlines, dark shadows drifting through space. They match what I saw in the Queen's memory, he said. The void kind. The scientists looked at each other, then back at him. You're sure? Yes. Just then, an alarm blared across the station. Red lights flashed. The computer voice spoke quickly. Incoming object detected. No ID, no heat. Closing fast. How close? Carter asked. The screen blinked. Within 5,000 kilometers, now 4,000. One of the scientists gasped. That's not normal. It's too fast.
Out.
Do we have weapons? Carter asked. A defense turret, but it's old, the other replied. Carter grabbed the comms. This is Carter from Earth. It's any allied ship nearby. We have contact with an unknown threat. Repeat, unknown threat. Need support now. The signal sent, but there was no time to wait. The shadow outside grew larger. It wasn't a ship in the normal sense. It looked like a floating mass of darkness, changing shape like smoke in water. And it didn't fly, it drifted like it was alive. Fire the turret, Carter shouted. The station shook as a beam fired. It struck the creature, but nothing happened. It didn't even slow down, scientists cried. The lights flickered. Then the outer cameras went black. "What's it doing?" Carter asked, before anyone could answer. The creature passed over the station and vanished into the stars. Everything fell in again. Carter stood frozen. It wasn't here to attack us, he said. It was scouting. Later, in the main hall of the station, Carter sat with the scientists. They were shaken, but alive. "We need to tell the galaxy," one said. "They must believe us now." Carter nodded. "I'll send the footage and report to the council and to the Queen." He uploaded the files to his portable system. Before leaving, he looked at the dark window one last time. Whatever that creature was, didn't come to fight. It came to watch. A few days later, Carter arrived at a secret meeting arranged by the Zelari Queen. It was held on a neutral world, far from the eyes of the council. There he found not just the Queen, but representatives from a few other species. "You've seen them?" the Queen said as he stepped into the room. Carter nodded. "It's there. Real, and they're moving." He showed the footage, the data, the patterns. The room fell into silence. One representative, a tall creature with green feathers, finally spoke. "So the legends were true." "Yes," the Queen said. "The void can return, just as before. This time the galaxy is not ready." "The council still denies it," Carter said. "They're afraid of the truth." "Then we cannot wait for them," the Queen said. "We must act. We must form a new alliance." The word alliance felt heavy, old, but Carter knew it was the only way. "What do you need from me?" he asked. The Queen looked at him with serious eyes. "You carry both their past and their future. You are the only one who can unite." "What was broken then?" "Let's start," Carter said, "before it's too late." In the weeks that followed, Carter and the Queen visited distant worlds, met with hidden leaders, and shared the warning. Slowly, more races joined the cause. Not all believed. Some mocked. Others feared. But a few listened. And a few were enough. A secret fleet began to form, small, quiet, spread across the stars. Carter trained with soldiers, spoke with scientists, and helped rebuild ancient tech based on the memory core's knowledge. The Queen stood beside him through it all. "You have changed since the first day," she told him. Carter smiled. "I think I've just remembered who I am." One night, while looking at an old map of the galaxy, Carter placed his hand on a faded symbol and ancient alliance mark. "Once shared between humans and Zelari, we were never meant to fight each other," he said. The Queen nodded. "And we won't, not this time." But deep in space, the Voidkind were watching. And they were not alone anymore. The secret fleet was not large, but it was strong in spirit. Humans, Zelari, and a few other brave species worked side by side. Engineers rebuilt old ships with new designs, using the ancient knowledge from the memory cores. Warriors trained with each other, sharing weapons, styles, and language. Something was changing across the stars quietly. But surely, Carter stood on the bridge of one of the new hybrid ships, watching as the last batch of Allied fighters docked. The ship's walls were a blend of human steel and Zelari crystal. It hummed softly like it was alive. "We've finished the upgrades," said Commander Lena, a Zelari with deep green eyes. "It will hold under pressure, but we still don't know if it can face the Voidkind." Carter nodded. "We'll find out soon enough." They had received a signal from a colony world low power, broken message. But enough to understand one word. "Help." "What's the planet's status?" Carter asked. "Last scan shows only 20% of surface systems working," Lena replied. "We believe the Voidkind passed through, but didn't finish whatever they started." "Then we go," Carter said. "Prepare the fleet. We leave in 1 hour." The flight to the colony world took 2 days. On the way, Carter walked among the crew, listening to their fears, answering what he could. Many of the younger soldiers had never faced real war. Others had, but not against an enemy like this one that left no bodies, only silence. He spoke to them calmly. "You don't fight for glory. You fight so others don't have to." Those words were simple, but they gave strength. On the final, day, the fleet entered the planet's orbit. The world below looked broken. Cities were half dark, the skies full of ash clouds. But no signs of battle, no fire, no smoke, no wreckage. Just stillness. Scans picking up movement in one area. Lena said, "Shelter is still active." "Then we start there," Carter ordered. Carter and a small team landed near the shelter. The area was quiet. Broken roads, empty houses, and strange shadows on the walls as if something had passed by and erased life itself. They reached. The shelter opened the heavy doors and found a group of survivors, humans, Zelari, and others. Some were injured. Most were scared. "You're not Council forces," one man said in surprise. "No," Carter answered. "We're something new. They brought food, medicine, and helped the injured." Carter asked what happened. A young Zelari boy explained. The sky turned black. The machines stopped working. Then the voices started. Whispers. They told us to hide. "Did you see the creatures?" Carter asked. The boy nodded. "Only their shapes. They don't walk like us, float, and they don't make sound." Another woman added. "They didn't destroy us. They watched, and then they left." "Scouts," Carter said to Lena. "Or messengers," she replied. Carter looked up at the dark sky through a cracked ceiling. "They're not here to conquer. They're here to study. To learn how to erase us completely when the time comes." They couldn't wait anymore. Back aboard the fleet, Carter sent a message to the Galactic Council. This time, he didn't ask for permission. "To all leaders, soldiers, and people of the galaxy," he said, "I send this message not as a diplomat, but as someone who has seen the truth. The Voidkind are real. They're moving through our worlds, testing us, watching." He paused before continuing. "They do not care about your flags, your pride, or your walls. They only care about silence. If we don't unite now, we will all vanish." He ended the message with footage from the damaged colony and the survivors' words. Then he turned to Lena. "Send the same message to every free channel. Let the people decide." In the days that followed, the galaxy shook. Some council members called him a liar. Others accused him of causing fear. But many races, especially those on the edge of space, began to listen. They saw the signs. They remembered old stories. Slowly, more ships joined the secret fleet. Even a few council ships defected. Quietly and carefully, the Queen sent word through a secure channel. "You've done more than we hoped. The fire has started." Carter smiled. He remembered something from the Queen's memories. A phrase once spoken by the first human who stood with the Zelari. "We are not born to burn. We are born to shine together." He repeated those words at a new gathering held on an abandoned station once used during the First Flame War. Leaders came. Soldiers came. Even a few council watchers came. Carter stood before them and said, "We don't need the whole galaxy. We need those who believe. We need those who are not afraid to stand side by side." The new alliance was born that night, not from power, but from shared fear and shared hope. Far away, beyond the edge of known space, the Voidkind watched. They studied every signal, every word, every ship. And one of them, larger than the others, finally moved. The time to watch was ending. The time to strike was near. The stars flickered in silence above the growing fleet. Dozens of ships now stood ready, some large and powerful, others old and patched together. They carried no single flag. They flew under one shared idea: survival through unity. Carter stood on the command deck of the lead ship, staring at the map of space. The Voidkind were on the move again. The listening post had gone silent. And this time, they had left a mark behind a burned planet with not a single trace of life. "It's their message," Lena said, standing beside him. "They're no longer hiding." "Then neither should we," Carter replied. He opened a transmission to the fleet. "This is Carter. We've trained. We've waited. Now we go to the edge to face what's coming, not to run. We fight not with hate, but with purpose. We fight for the living." The fleet turned toward the far border of known space. They arrived at the dead zone 2 days later. The system had once been home to 3 planets, now reduced to dust and fire. Strange black clouds drifted across the stars, moving against gravity. The scanners picked up nothing. Odd. And yet everything felt wrong. No signs of life, the sensor officer said. But something's here. Carter looked through the viewing window, then he saw it. A shape, dark as the void, slowly emerged from the shadows. It was the void-conned mothership, but it was not made of metal. It was made of something else. It shifted like smoke, pulsed like a heartbeat, and stretched across half the stars. Lights inside it blinked like eyes. All ships, ready weapons, Carter said calmly. Stay close. Stay sharp. The fleet formed a defensive circle. The Queen's ship joined beside Carter's, its crystal hull glowing blue. Then the void kind attacked, not with lasers, not with missiles. They screamed. A deep, silent wave of psychic force spread through space. Lights flickered, engines slowed. Crew members collapsed from pressure inside their minds. Raise mental shields, Alina shouted. Carter focused, using the training from the Queen's archive. He activated the memory core link. Suddenly, a glowing field surrounded their ship. Other hybrid ships followed. The scream faded where the shield stood strong. Fire, Carter ordered. The fleet fired everything: plasma bolts, missiles, beams of light. They hit the creature, but it didn't bleed. It bent, reshaped, twisted. Like a storm, but slowly, piece by piece, it burned. They're not invincible, Lena said. No, Carter replied. They just want us to believe they are. The battle lasted hours. Some ships were lost. Some fighters never returned. But the fleet held together. At the center of it all, Carter's ship flew straight into the heart of the Voidkin's massive body. The Queen's ship followed, their engines pushing against the darkness. Inside, the creature tried to invade their minds. Next, it showed them fear, loss, old pain. Carter saw images of Earth burning, of friends fading into ashdot. But then he saw something else, his dream from long ago. The silver tree, the singing wind, the voice that whispered, "You are not alone." He reached forward and placed the memory core into the ship's control. A pulse of light exploded from the ship. Pure memory. Pure unity. It spread through the fleet, linking every ship, every crew member. Suddenly they were not separate. They were one voice, one purpose. The Voidkins screamed again, and then broke. The giant shape shattered into dust. The shadows fled. The silence after was deep. On the deck, Carter stood quietly looking at the stars. "We won," Lena asked, barely believing it. "This time," he said, "but others will come." The Queen's voice came through the coms. "You've done what no one else could," he reminded the galaxy what it had forgotten. Carter sat down, feeling the weight of it all. "We're not done. We rebuild now, together." Months later, the first Alliance station opened near the border where the battle had happened. It was not named after anyone's species. It was simply called Hope. Carter walked its halls, now filled with beings from across the galaxy. Engineers, leaders, children, scholars all, working together. The Queen joined him at the viewing deck. "You were the first they trusted," she said. "I was just the one who listened," he replied. "Sometimes that's the hardest role." Handed him a small crystal box. Inside was the original memory core. "It's yours now," she said. "Your people should know the full story." "They will," Carter promised. As the station circled above the stars, Carter looked out into space. There were still dangers, but there was also something new. Unity. And it had started with 6 words. "You alone may enter. Human."